Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to She Feels Everything, the podcast for empaths, highly sensitive people, and spiritual souls. I'm Gill, and today we're exploring a feeling that I think so many of us know well: loneliness in a loud world. Even when we're surrounded by people, noise, or constant activity, it's possible to feel unseen, unheard, or even disconnected. So, this episode is about recognizing that loneliness isn't a flaw, it's a signal from your sensitive soul and a guide to finding moments of stillness, self-compassion, and true connection. From an early age, I remember feeling a little apart from the world around me, even in busy classrooms or noisy family gatherings. There were times I felt like I was watching life from the sidelines, not fully connected. It wasn't that I didn't want connection, I longed for it. But my sensitive nature meant that loud environments, overwhelming energy, or constant expectations often left me retreating into myself almost. I know I've mentioned about having a physical difference, and I also wore glasses, and especially in comprehensive school or secondary school, whatever you would call it now, I went through a period of bullying, and it wasn't pleasant. And I think on some level they recognised that I was different, and I was different to everybody else. I've mentioned that I didn't know I was different, but you kind of sense it even when you're a child. But my teenage years were especially hard, being at school and bullying. I know even the first day of comprehensive school, I remember like waiting in the schoolyard, waiting to like go in, go into classrooms, etc. A boy came towards us and just like plowed into us, and I fell over. Of course, I had a skirt on, so my skirt went up. So from that day on, I think it wasn't very pleasant. I mean, it's different now, I guess, for kids bullying, because there's a lot around social media and phones. We're always connected these days, whereas my day in school, it didn't have mobile phones. I couldn't take a mobile phone into the classroom with me. So I guess in one respect, the bullying that I did go through stopped. It was just around school hours, but it was very isolating. I think that's why I used to want to that on top of loneliness in the loud world. When you're at school, there's all the emotions, all your hormones, and there's a lot of excitement and noise and disruption. That's why I often wanted to retreat more, especially during those years. It wasn't very pleasant, but I mean, there was no one really to talk to about it either, and I kept a lot of it to myself, which is sad in a way. I felt I couldn't talk to anybody about the bullying I was going through. I would just come home from school, go upstairs, and kind of that was it. But yeah, I think there's a bit more support around it now, and schools crack down on it a lot more. I mean, it didn't. I just kind of learned to get on with it, put up with it. It wasn't an awful lot, don't get me wrong, but it was just kind of name calling, that sort of thing. They kind of see an easy target, don't they? So, I mean, wearing a skirt in high school, I hated wearing a skirt, so I would try and wear trousers whenever I could. because of my physical difference, it was obvious, that there was something different about us. And because of that, because I came across as lacking in confidence, because of my highly sensitive and empathic nature, there was that, and the names weren't very pleasant, as you could probably imagine. You just get on with it, really, and you learn to, you just learn to cope with it in different ways, I guess. I mean, so sometimes I felt lonely, even when surrounded by friends, classmates, or family, and I didn't understand why. Yeah, it was a deep, quiet kind of loneliness, the kind that only another sensitive soul can recognize, really. And over time, I realized that this feeling wasn't something to fear. It was a signal, and it was a signal that my body and soul were asking me to slow down. In those moments when the world can be hectic and busy, non-stop, 24/7, you just need time to almost step off the treadmill of life and take time out and to find, and I guess I needed to find my own rhythm and to nurture myself first. I think that's why I didn't really get on in high school, because it was too overwhelming for me, really. The energy, there was too much overwhelming energy, and the environment was far too loud and chaotic. And yeah, it wasn't exactly my favorite time. Anyway. But if you resonate with that, you can feel lonely in a loud world. And just know that you're not alone. If you're highly sensitive, if you're an empath, or you're a sensitive soul like myself, just take a deep breath and maybe just take some time out for yourself. Even if it's 5 minutes, half an hour, you need to look after yourself first. There's nothing wrong with feeling overwhelmed. We can all feel overwhelmed from time to time and feel lonely. Yeah. I'd now like to read a little bit from my book, and it's from the chapter which is Loneliness in a Loud World. And it talks about feeling lonely in observing life from a sensitive perspective. So this is chapter 4, Loneliness in a Loud World. I had always preferred stillness, solitude and quiet, but secondary school was the opposite, chaotic, crowded and energetically intense. My sensitivity, which had always made me feel different, now made me feel completely out of place. And then came the bullying. It started subtly, a look, comment, a whisper, and it built from there. I wore glasses. I had a visible difference in my leg from my club foot and surgeries. I didn't know how to protect my energy, how to deflect attention, how to pretend I was someone I wasn't. My birthday being in August meant I had been put in the year above most of my peers, separated from my closest friends. I was the youngest in the class, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. I didn't know how to be in such a loud, competitive environment. Classrooms felt like energetic war zones. There were no safe spaces to retreat to, no gentle corners, no calming teachers who got it. It was all noise, pressure, and performance. No one ever asked the right questions. No teacher ever pulled me aside and asked why I looked so drained. No one noticed how emotionally disconnected I was becoming. I don't think anyone knew what to do with a quiet, withdrawn girl who wasn't being naughty, just silently falling apart. That was just a little bit of reading from my book, She Felt Everything. I'd now like to read a soul note from my heart to yours. Loneliness in a loud world can feel heavy, isolating, and confusing, but it does not mean you are broken or unseen. It is simply your sensitive soul's way of asking for space, stillness, and gentle care. You are allowed to step away from the noise, even if just for a few moments. You are allowed to retreat into your own quiet corners, to breathe, to nurture, to reconnect with yourself. And in these moments of solitude, you may find the richest connections with your own heart, with the natural world, or with a kindred spirit who truly sees you. Remember, your need for quiet and reflection is sacred. It is your gift. You are never too much. You are always enough. With lots of love and hugs. Now let's take a moment to return to ourselves. Place both feet on the floor if you're sitting. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or gaze softly down towards the floor. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a second and exhale slowly through your mouth. And again, take another slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a second and exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel your heart and breath connecting to your own safe, quiet space. Repeat quietly to yourself, I am safe. I am seen. I am enough. I am safe. I am seen. I am enough. One more time, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Feel the tension or heaviness dissolve when you exhale, and feel your body relaxing. Now gently wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, and if you had your eyes closed, gently open your eyes and come back to the present. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope this episode reminded you that feeling lonely doesn't mean you're alone in your experience. Your sensitivity is a strength, and your quiet moments are sacred. If this episode resonates, please share it with someone who might need this reminder. And remember, you are always enough, exactly as you are. Love, light, and blessings from Gill, the inner healing empath. She feels everything.